Across history, human beings have struggled with the same internal battles: desire, identity, loneliness, and the search for meaning. Civilizations rise and fall, but the human heart remains the same. In the Orthodox tradition, saints are not perfect people. They are people who underwent profound transformation through repentance and grace. Their stories function as historical testimonies, not mythological tales. Among them, few lives are as striking as that of Saint Mary of Egypt, a woman whose journey from extreme indulgence to unmatched holiness became one of the central narratives of Great Lent. What makes her story powerful is its realism, preserved by Saint Sophronius of Jerusalem, based on the testimony of the monk Zosimas, who met her in person. This is not legend. This is documented spiritual history. Mary was born in Egypt in the mid-5th century, during a period of significant social and religious change. Egypt was no longer under pagan rule. Christianity had been dominant for generations, but major cities remained morally complex environments. Alexandria, where Mary spent her youth, was one of the largest cities of the ancient world. It had markets, theaters, sailors' quarters, scholars, and travelers. It also had areas filled with temptation, pleasures, and transient populations. She left her family at the age of 12. We do not know why. The historical account simply states she left willingly and settled among strangers. The city's culture likely exposed her early to activities that shaped her later choices. Mary's life in Alexandria spanned 17 years of unrestrained behavior. She admitted that she did not accept money for her encounters. Her motivation was desire and habit, not income. This detail is crucial to understanding her inner struggle. Her actions reflected a deeper spiritual hunger, a restlessness documented by the Fathers as the passion of wandering desire. Her lifestyle became a cycle, reinforcing itself without providing true satisfaction. At around the age of 29, Mary noticed a group of young men preparing to travel to Jerusalem. They were pilgrims intending to attend the feast of the exaltation of the Holy Cross. Mary joined them impulsively. The ancient world's maritime routes often included groups traveling together for safety. She boarded the same vessel and continued her previous lifestyle throughout the voyage. Zosimas later wrote that she seduced several pilgrims on the ship. Historically, this journey would have taken several days across the Mediterranean. The pilgrims likely slept on deck, protected only by simple coverings. Food was basic, and conditions were harsh. Mary's presence disrupted the spiritual purpose of the others. Yet through this very journey, she was unknowingly approaching the turning point of her life. The paradox of God using even our missteps to bring us to repentance is a theme common in Orthodox thought. Upon arriving in Jerusalem, Mary followed the crowds to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. This building was and remains one of the most sacred places in Christianity. It housed Golgotha, the site of Christ's crucifixion, and the empty tomb. On the feast of the exaltation of the cross, thousands gathered to venerate the relic of the true cross. The atmosphere would have been solemn: incense, chanting, and clergy from multiple Christian communities. Mary approached the entrance as others did. But when she attempted to step inside, an invisible force held her back. She tried repeatedly and failed. Every attempt pushed her away, while others entered freely. Zosimas emphasized that this phenomenon was witnessed only by her. In Orthodox theology, this moment is considered a divine intervention, not to shame her, but to awaken her conscience. She suddenly saw her entire life with clarity. It was not emotional theatrics. It was a confrontation with truth. Near the church entrance was an icon of the Theotokos. Mary turned to it and prayed honestly, acknowledging the weight of her past. She begged for mercy and promised a new life if granted entrance. This moment is historically significant because the ancient church was filled with icons, not as decoration, but as theological statements. The icon of the Mother of God represented intercession, compassion, and guidance toward repentance. After her prayer, she returned to the entrance once more. This time, the barrier lifted. She entered the church and venerated the true cross with tears. The repentance she experienced was sudden but sincere. Leaving the church, Mary felt a prompting in her heart. She should cross the Jordan River. This was not a literal voice, but a spiritual conviction typical of early monastic narratives. She obeyed immediately. She went to the monastery of St. John the Baptist near the Jordan. There, she confessed her sins to a priest and received Holy Communion. This sacramental act prepared her for the desert life ahead. She purchased 3 loaves of bread from the monastery, crossed the river, and entered the desert. The Jordan region was sparsely populated at the time, consisting mostly of monastic settlements and nomadic groups. Mary ventured far beyond these. The desert Mary entered was close to the region of the Transjordan. It was an environment marked by extreme temperatures, rocky formations, and vast stretches of sand. Travelers historically avoided long stays there. Mary faced scorching heat during the day, often above 40 degrees Celsius, and near freezing nights. There were no shelters except occasional caves or natural stone formations. Wild animals, scorpions, and snakes were common threats. Her 3 loaves eventually ran out. She survived on sparse vegetation, drinking water from small seasonal streams or from rainfall trapped in rock cavities. This lifestyle demanded physical resilience and constant prayer. According to the tradition, Mary endured severe spiritual warfare during her early years in the desert. Temptations from her former life resurfaced vividly. Songs, tastes, voices, and memories. She fought them through prayer and perseverance. The first 17 years were the most difficult, mirroring the 17 years she had lived in sin. This parallel is noted by Saint Sophronius as a symbolic balance between her past and her purification. Gradually, the intensity of her temptations decreased. Her mind settled into what the Fathers call hesychia, the stillness of the heart. She became capable of uninterrupted prayer, even without formal instruction. Her clothing deteriorated completely. She lived exposed to the elements for decades, which explains her extraordinary physical appearance, described later by Zosimus. For 47 years, she remained in solitude. This is historically significant because few recorded ascetics matched such duration without human contact. Her survival remains a profound mystery in Orthodox spirituality. Zosimus was an elderly monk living in a monastery near the Jordan. He was respected for his ascetic life, but sought deeper spiritual understanding. His monastery practiced the custom of spending Great Lent in the desert. During one such retreat, he encountered Mary. He saw a figure moving swiftly across the desert, and initially feared it was a spirit. As he approached, he realized she was human. Mary's appearance shocked him. Her body was tanned by the sun, her hair was white, and her form was thin but strong. Her spiritual presence was overwhelming. She greeted him by name, revealing her clairvoyance. She asked for his cloak to cover herself. Then she told her entire life story with calm honesty, without exaggeration or self-pity. Zosimas listened in awe. Before leaving, Mary requested that he bring her the Eucharist the next Lent. This request affirmed her continuous bond with the Church. When Zosimas returned the next year, Mary approached the Jordan River from the opposite side. The river was wider then than today, with strong currents, yet she crossed its surface as though walking on solid ground. This detail, recorded independently, is central to her sanctity. Orthodox tradition holds that such miracles occur not by human ability, but by divine grace granted to the spiritually purified. She received communion with deep reverence. Afterward, she asked Zosimas to return one more time the following Lent. This would be their final meeting. When Zosimas returned the next year, he found her body on the ground. She had died peacefully. Next to her was a message written in the sand. She had died the same night she received communion. A lion approached Zosimas but did not harm him. Instead, it helped dig the grave. This detail symbolized the restoration of harmony between humans and creation through holiness. Zosimas buried her and returned to his monastery to share the account. Saint Sophronius later documented everything, ensuring her story's preservation across centuries. Today, Mary of Egypt stands as a symbol of repentance, transformation, and spiritual resilience. Her life is read every year during Great Lent as a reminder of renewal. She demonstrates that no one is beyond redemption. If this documentary deepened your understanding, consider subscribing. This channel explores the lives of saints through history, theology, and tradition. Your presence here is welcome.